I took the night shift at the Hollow Creek gas station because the pay was triple, and I was too broke to ask why. 22 years old, 6 hours from home, living out of a duffel bag. The manager was a gray-haired man named Earl who looked like he hadn't slept since the 90s. He handed me the keys, a flashlight, and a laminated card. He didn't smile. Not once. He just said, "Read the card, follow the card, and you'll be fine." There were 3 rules. Rule 1. If the pump lights flicker after midnight, turn off the canopy lights and wait 10 minutes. Do not turn them back on early. Rule 2. If a customer stands at pump 4 without a car, do not look at them for longer than 5 seconds. Rule 3, and this one was underlined twice. If you hear knocking at the back door, it is not Earl. Earl never uses the back door. I laughed when I read it. I thought it was a hazing thing, some joke they pulled on every new hire. Earl didn't laugh with me. He just picked up his coat and walked out into the dark. The first 2 weeks were nothing. Boring, even. The coolers hummed. The fluorescents buzzed. Maybe 4 customers a night. Truckers, mostly, paying cash, never saying much. After 2 a.m. the radio only caught static, no matter which way I turned the dial. I told myself that was normal out there, between the hills. I stopped reading the card. I stopped thinking about it. That was my first mistake. It was a Tuesday in October when the pump lights flickered. 3 short pulses, like a heartbeat. I remembered Rule 1, and I killed the canopy lights, more out of reflex than belief. I sat in the dark behind the register, feeling stupid, counting the minutes on my phone. That's when I saw it. At pump 4. A figure, standing where the light used to be. Tall, too tall, and thin in a way that made my eyes hurt, like the proportions had been copied wrong from memory. There was no car. There was no sound. It just stood there, facing the store. Facing me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I tore my eyes down to the counter and stared at my own hands until they stopped shaking. When I finally looked up again, the forecourt was empty. Empty, except for the footprints. Wet, bare footprints on dry asphalt, leading from pump 4 toward the building. They stopped just outside the glass. I didn't sleep when I got home. I came in early the next night and pulled the security footage because I needed to prove to myself that I'd imagined it. I hadn't. On camera, the figure was there at pump 4 for exactly 10 minutes. Then the recording skipped, 1 frame, and it was at the front door, pressed against the glass. It stood there, on tape, for 41 minutes. I was sitting at the register the entire time, 2 meters from that door, and I never saw it. It only existed on the monitor, and the monitor had been watching it watch me. The knocking started in November. 3 knocks. Slow. Patient. Like whoever it was had all the time in the world. Then silence for exactly 15 minutes. I timed it, and then 3 more. It is not Earl. Earl never uses the back door. I sat on the floor behind the counter with the laminated card in both hands like a prayer book, and I did not move until the sky turned gray. The knocking stopped at 3:33. It always stopped at 3:33. When I told Earl, he just nodded, like I'd reported a leaky faucet. "You followed the card," he said. "That's all the card is for." I asked him what it was, what any of it was. He looked at the tree line for a long time, and the only thing he said was this: "We don't really sell gas, kid. We keep the lights on. As long as somebody keeps the lights on, it stays out there. That's the job. That's the whole job." I should have quit that morning. I know that now. But the pay was triple, and I was 22, and I had almost convinced myself that rules were the same thing as walls. The storm came on a Friday. Rain like gravel on the roof. At 1:17 in the morning, lightning hit something up the road, and the whole station went black. The pumps, the coolers, the canopy. Rule 1 says, turn off the lights and wait. But the lights were already off, all of them, and there was nothing left to turn off, and nothing in the card about what to do when the dark arrives on its own. The next flash of lightning lasted half a second. It was enough. The figure was at pump 4. The flash after that, maybe 10 seconds later, it was past pump 2. It was walking toward the store. It moved like a marionette underwater, joints first, too smooth and too wrong all at once. And I broke rule 2. I looked. I couldn't stop looking. 5 seconds, 10, 20. My eyes wouldn't close and my legs wouldn't move, and the glass between us suddenly felt like a held breath. Its face stopped an inch from the window. It was my face. Older, gray, hollowed out, like something had been paying rent in it for 30 years and never once opened the curtains. Same scar on the eyebrow. Same crooked tooth. Me, after 1,000 more night shifts. It didn't snarl. It didn't scream. It did something worse. It smiled, slow and polite, like a coworker, and it raised one long hand and pressed a laminated card against the glass, facing me. Handwriting I recognized, because it was mine. Rule 4. When the lights go out, the shift changes. The power came back at 3:33 exactly. The fluorescents stuttered on, the coolers coughed awake, and the forecourt was empty. No figure, no footprints, just rain. I left the keys on the counter next to the card, and I drove 6 hours without stopping, watching the station shrink in the mirror until the trees swallowed it. Earl never called. I think Earl understood. Last month, a friend of mine drove through Hollow Creek on a road trip. He sent me a photo. Found a gas station in the middle of nowhere. New guy working nights. Poor soul. I zoomed in. I shouldn't have. The kid at the counter looks 22, maybe. Tired. Bored. And taped to the register, you can just make out the card. I counted the lines. There are 4 rules on it now. And in the window behind him, faint, half drowned in the fluorescent glare, there's a reflection standing at pump 4. The kid will be fine, probably, as long as he reads the card, as long as he follows the card. As for me, I keep every light in my house burning, all night, every night. My neighbors think I'm strange. Let them. Somewhere out on that highway, the lights are the only thing holding the dark in place. And the dark remembers my face.